Have you ever held a letter in your hand that felt too dangerous to exist? A letter that could break hearts, destroy families, and change your life forever? That night in Manchester, I stared at the flames swallowing the paper, wondering if burning it was the right choice or the biggest mistake of my life. My name is Elena Morris. I'm 27 years old, and I've lived in Manchester, UK my whole life. People say the city is always buzzing, full of music, football, and endless nightlife. But my life was far from glamorous. I worked as a librarian at the Central Library, a quiet place where every day felt the same. Dusty shelves, the smell of old books, and the occasional student rushing in before exams. But my heart, my heart was caught in something far more dangerous than any novel on those shelves. It all began when I met Adrian Hale. He wasn't from Manchester. He had moved from Bristol just a few months earlier, renting a flat across the street from mine. Tall, with unruly dark hair, and eyes that always looked like they were keeping secrets. Adrian was the kind of man who could turn silence into tension just by standing near you. At first, it was just casual encounters, bumping into each other at the cafe, exchanging small smiles at the bus stop. But slowly, those moments grew into something deeper. Long conversations under the streetlights, hidden laughter in crowded places, and glances that lasted longer than they should have. The problem? Adrian wasn't mine to love. He was engaged to a woman named Clara, the daughter of a wealthy family in London. Their marriage was practically arranged, a deal between families, but still, a commitment. Every time I reminded myself of that, my chest tightened. And yet, neither of us could stop. One evening after walking me home, Adrian pressed a folded piece of paper into my hand. His voice was low, almost trembling, when he said, "Read this when you're alone, and decide if we're brave enough." My fingers shook as I unfolded it later that night. It was a love letter. His handwriting was messy, but the words cut through me. "Elena, every day without you feels like a lie. Clara may have my name, but you have my soul. If loving you is wrong, then I don't want to be right." I read it over and over, my tears blurring the ink. It was everything I wanted to hear, and everything I feared. I knew that if anyone ever found this letter, it could ruin us both. Clara's family was powerful. Adrian's career was on the line. And me? I had nothing to lose but my heart. Still, I kept the letter hidden in my dresser drawer, like a forbidden treasure. Weeks passed, and our secret meetings continued. We laughed, we dreamed, we pretended the world outside didn't exist. But guilt has a way of catching up to you. One afternoon, Clara showed up at the library. She was stunning, polished, graceful, the kind of woman who belonged on magazine covers. She didn't recognize me, but when she asked if I had seen Adrian around, my throat nearly closed. I lied. I told her I barely knew him. The guilt gnawed at me all night, until I opened the drawer and stared at that letter again. And then came the night everything changed. It was stormy, rain slashing against my windows, when Adrian showed up at my door drenched, his eyes wild with desperation. "Clara suspects something," he whispered, his hands trembling as he reached for mine. "We need to leave, Elena. Leave Manchester. Leave everything." His words should have thrilled me, but instead they terrified me. Was I really ready to throw away my entire life, to be the villain in someone else's story? When he left that night, I sat alone with the letter in my hands. My mind spun between love and fear, desire and duty. Finally, I lit a match. I held it to the corner of the page, watching as the fire devoured his words, the words that had once made my heart soar. The flames curled the edges, ink turning to smoke, love turning to ash. I whispered to myself, "This has to end." But as the last piece burned, I felt a hollow pain, like I had destroyed more than paper. I had destroyed the proof of something real, something that had made me feel alive. The room smelled of smoke and regret. The next day, Adrian called. His voice was tight, broken. "Elena, you burned it, didn't you?" My silence was the only answer he needed. After that, he didn't come by anymore. Weeks turned into months, and eventually, I saw him only once more, from a distance, walking with Clara hand in hand. He looked like a man who had chosen duty over love, and I was the ghost of what he left behind. And yet, even now, whenever I walk by that old dresser, I can almost smell the smoke, almost hear the crackle of flames. I ask myself if I did the right thing, or if I burned the only love I would ever truly know.